All right. So I want to welcome everyone to another episode of the Inquisitive Mind of Louis T. If numbers are right, this should be episode 9. Before getting too far in it, I want to just give a shout out. We actually got some sponsors. One big sponsor for the whole episode, we got Beast Behavior. We'll hear a little bit more about that later. Also want to give a big shout out to TwoCreativeCreations. You know, Tamara Drena. Make sure you find them on Facebook. That's the number 2 Creative Creations. You know, we got some lovely Hennessy popcorn. One of our guests can tell you all about that. We got them hooked. And also big shouts out to Designz by T. So the show is sponsored by Beast Behavior, but I am sponsored by Designz by T. Get you a custom tee like this, you know, and other stuff. So big shout out to John, and you'll see all the credits at the end of the podcast. So we're going to go around. We got some wonderful guests today. We're going to start across directly from me.
First and foremost, thanks, Louis T, for inviting me to your show and your podcast, man. Beautiful thing. We've been friends for a while. My name is Tarence Williams, originally from Wilmington, North Carolina. It's my hometown. I'm also the brand ambassador for my own company, which is Beast Behavior, and also my other company called the Running Back Club. I'm the brand ambassador for that as well.
Another one.
Yeah, so have a couple of different things going on right now, man. Trying to generate some revenue and inspire others as I do so. So
I'm Jay Ross. Thanks for having me as well. I'm a local native right here from Wilmington, North Carolina. I went to Hanover, Wildcats.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. But I went to East Carolina University, played football there, defensive tackle. I definitely got to get my business game up. A man over here sitting on 2 businesses. I got to get me something going. So, yeah.
Oh,
I just appreciate you having me.
Hey, no problem. And then to my left, my co-host, from the most, make sure you check out, I think it was episode 5 also with him. Hopefully this won't be as exciting as that one.
Yeah, real quick, guys. Most people know me. My name's Mo. I get to run the show out at Cilantro Irish Pub, Monkey Junction. That's what I do. I came up in the area as well, played football. I went in the military out of high school, but once I got back into football here locally with the Port City Diesel, Wilmington Tigers, and they heyday. Since have coached my sons and other people's sons in the community. Coastal Bengals, shout out, Parkwood, you know what I mean?
Parkwood.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And multiple other sports in the area, so, you know what I mean? Cool.
Yeah, because I know very little about sports, so Mo's going to keep me educated on some of the things so we can have a cohesive podcast.
No dumb question.
So today we're here, pretty much we're going to kind of like some of the stuff that Terrence already touched on. We're going to kind of talk about life after sports. But before we get to the after sports, we're going to kind of get like let them talk about their career in the sports game, in sports ball, and then we're going to just kind of like talk about that transition from, because like a lot of people talk about the heyday or when it's good, but you never hear. You never hear about that life after sports. And I'm not going to tell too much of their stories, but when somebody gets hurt, if you're not from that area and if you don't know them personally, like ESPN ever carries that, or when someone's not playing anymore. So, we're gonna touch on that. But before we get to life after sports, let's, who want to start and talk about, while the giving was good.
yeah, man. So in the introduction, I didn't mention that I played football. Graduated from Laney High School.
Yeah.
Home of Michael Jordan and home of Hitcher, a.k.a.
Right.
Louis T.
Home of Terrence Williams. You know what I mean? Better add that in there, bro.
Yeah, I went to school there. So
I'm sure we probably beat the Wildcats back then, too.
Oh, absolutely, and Hoggart too.
Yeah.
And Ashley didn't exist, so that tells my age. So yeah, man, graduated from Laney High School, 1999. got a full ride, full scholarship to Wake Forest University, and where I played as a true freshman. And then ended up having a pretty good career at Wake Forest. Had a couple of nicks and bruises as far as injuries throughout the process or throughout my journey and career. But end up being the number 4 to date all-time rusher at Wake Forest. And some unfortunate things happened, throughout that journey. I ended up getting injured my senior year in the fourth quarter, and actually right before the fourth quarter. So it was like 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. We were playing against Oregon, and I tore my patella tendon. And the crazy thing about that is, it's not like somebody actually hit me. I actually hurt myself doing a spin move. My cleat got stuck in the ground, or my spikes got stuck in the ground, and they gave me that overturn, and I ended up tearing my patella tendon, which hindered my chances of going to the next level, which is my dream since I was 6 years old. The next level, obviously, is the NFL, National Football League, and so from that point, it's not that I couldn't make it to the NFL. It's just I had no control over everybody else's decision of me going or not going, and I'll go into that in just a second. So I get injured, and before that, I had a couple of scouts that that were looking at me, and I knew that throughout the season, and from that point, of course, I'm doing all I can to get to the next level, taking every play seriously, running hard every play, things of that nature. End up getting hurt against Oregon, and then from there, I had surgery, had reconstruction surgery, and I come back home because it's 2003, and I come back home after graduating, and I'm still like in the rehabilitation situation. So I'm rehabbing at home. I'm seeing all my friends getting drafted, high rounds, some low rounds, some going free agency, some doing their thing, which was bittersweet. It was sweet because they're my friends and I wish the best for them, but it was bitter because the whole time at Wake Forest, they're looking at me like I was gonna be like the one who get drafted first and things of that nature, or who's gonna have an easier path to the NFL as far as my career, at Wake Forest. And not only them, but back at home in Port City, in Wilmington, I had a lot of people relying on me and
expectations,
man.
So
man. Every time I ran that ball, I was running it not just for me because I was passionate about the game. I was running it for my people. You know what I mean? I was running to inspire the city. You know what I mean? Especially, I remember one time, not to get off topic, I remember a couple of times actually where ESPN, they put the cameras in my face after I score a touchdown, and I scream out Port City, man. Even before I say hello, mom. You know what I mean? And that's what the city meant to me, and that's what that's how I wanted to inspire the city and let them know, like, look, man, you could be here too. So anyway, things didn't work out for me going to the NFL because of the injury. So I come back home, rehabilitate, and I'm going through the process of getting back on track, getting that rehabilitation so I can take my chances at the league again. I had an agent. He's working for me. He's trying to get me in, certain leagues, even the CFL, just to take that route, take the path.
So what's the agent actually at this point? What is he saying to you? Like, what's that conversation after the injury?
Okay, so the conversation after the injury was, and he was relatively new. He had his own. He started his own little new firm, his agency I'm in, and so he was new to the game, and I'm new to the game. I don't know exactly what's going on, so I'm relying on him to know everything that's going on. Because I'm hiring him for my agent, and so he's telling me after the injury, at this point it's 2003, so he's like, "Oh, you could be okay, man. You probably get drafted at 6. They would take a chance on you. You have a remarkable career, yada yada yada." He said, "If not, I get you somewhere free agency once you all healed up." And at this time, I'm like 60%. I'm 60% for being healed 100%. So. In the back of my mind, I'm like, come on, man, I'm not even healthy yet. So why would they take a chance on me of drafting me? You know what I mean? It's not like I was Willis McGahee, you know, who was with the #1 team in the nation, who had almost the same injury, had a knee injury, but he got hurt like a week after I did, and but he still got drafted high. He was like the first running back taken, if I'm not mistaken, or the first couple. And so. And it was more of a political thing back then. It still is, sort of. You know, he had the bigger name. He had the bigger school. He had the more traditional school. You know, he had the more of the story and things of that nature. So my agent tell him, he's like, you know, look at McGahee. He's, you know, he's. I'm like, yo, man, but look at his story. You know what I mean? Look, the media has his name out there. You know, but I knew the back of my mind. I was like, this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about, man. So I had faith that I could still make it to the NFL. I had the passion for it, but at the same time, every day it's dwindling down. Like what is it? Your passion. Your passion kind of dwindling down. So.
Yeah, you just your hope is going away.
Absolutely, I mean? It's like having a mansion. You know what I mean? You have a $5 million mansion, and then you move out because you have a job that travels at 100%, making $100 million a year, and you go back to that mansion. You're not taking care of that mansion. It's going to dwindle down. I don't care how good it looks. You know, that thing deteriorate. You know what I mean? So. Okay. So that's what I was doing. That's what my mind was doing mentally at that time, right? So I have people in my ear from the same city that I try to inspire so much.
Okay.
I have them in my ear saying, "Look, man, you know, you're the best running back I've ever seen. You know, you can still make it." Instead of thirst. So I'm feeding off that fuel right there, right? But the other side of me was like, it's like the devil and the angel on one shoulder. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. Like you might want to go find that 9-to-5 job, man, because you have some credit card debt right now.
So let's put a pin in that.
I was just gonna say, I think if we can keep them parallel. I was gonna say let you take a break because you're hitting that after football point. Let you tell like your story now as far as football. That way we can the same questions we ask y'all can answer instead of going all the way through it.
Absolutely.
Hit you back.
My story was kind of a little different. When I was at Hanover, I actually committed to go play at Clemson. But on the other side, I mean, I played around in the classroom. So when I try to go back and talk to kids now, I tell them the classroom is the most important thing because I almost blew my opportunity, to be honest with you. Growing up, I come from a baseball family. If anybody know the Rosses, like Sean Ross is my cousin, like they all know we play baseball, and that's what I did growing up. I never picked up a football until I got to middle school. Then I got to high school and started getting a little size on me, so I started playing football and I became pretty good at it. So I had a coach at the time, Coach Fitz, John Fitz. Me and him had a pretty close relationship, but I remember them getting ready to go to a passing league camp at Clemson, and I had begged him the entire week. I'm like, Coach, I know it's a 7-on-7. Y'all don't need no defensive players, but can I please come play some tight end? Like, I just want to go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like traveling with the fellas and hanging out. So after I begged him all week, he just got tired of me begging him, and he was like, man, just get on the bus.
Yeah.
So I went on the bus, and I didn't think he was going to really play me. I didn't care if I played. I just wanted to go down there and, like I said, chop it up with the fellas. But he ended up playing me, and I got a couple balls thrown to me, and I caught them, took off, and little did I know, like, the actual Clemson coaches were out there watching all that was going on, and they saw a big guy that can run. They called me into, I think it was Tommy Bowden at the time. That was a coach, and I walked into his office, and he was like, he had his feet up on the desk, and he was like, hey, let me call you back. I got one of the newest recruits in my office right now. And, you know, I didn't really know what a recruit was at the time. Like I said, I didn't have no plans on going to college. I didn't know what a scholarship was. That's how sad I was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it happens, brother.
And Coach Fitz looked at me, and he was like, you know what they getting ready to do, don't you? And I was like, no. And he was like, they getting ready to offer you a scholarship. And I looked back at him, and I'm like, what's that?
Wow.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just stuff that, not saying us as black people, that, I mean, we don't teach our kids that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
or either one or the other, because like Terence, it seemed like that was his like scholarship, NFL.
Yeah.
Well,
and then
I want to.
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying we can interject because I mean that's a good talking point.
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up. Now, did I know what a scholarship was at age like 6 and through my teenage years, like 12, 13? I can't say that I knew exactly what it was. I've heard the term.
Yeah.
But I'm like Jay, like I wasn't really educated on like the whole process, you know, like the recruitment.
But still, it's not, and it might not be, it might not fit you, but I feel like there's some people that they put all those marbles in the bag of going professional.
Yeah.
Or then it seems like not even thinking about the process before you get to professional.
They skip all that college stuff.
The college stuff. So there's like a
middle
middle ground that seems like on both sides that we might be missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it seems like that college the college part of the college sports is important.
Yeah.
And can benefit you outside of the sport.
Exactly,
right. You need one. You can't have one without the other.
Right. Or take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Don't take it for granted.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
It's even more magnified. Like I said, it's just crazy that the whole, like everybody you asked individually, football is like our passion. I grew up playing other sports, baseball and stuff. But baseball, basketball, hockey, any of that, like you can go straight from high. You can be a phenom and get drafted to the pros, and it's no big deal. So it's like the only business you need is that agent can get you from step 1 to step 100. You know what I mean?
But I didn't even really know. I'm sorry to cut you because the agents, but I didn't even know you had agents in like college. Like I guess maybe
you don't have them, but
you get them towards the end of
towards the end of your end of your
you got to
career.
get somebody to represent you. You know what I mean? It's like getting a lawyer who started a business. You know what I mean?
But I didn't know that prior to.
But that's what I'm saying. With football is you got to be 3 years out of high school. So you know what I mean? Like LeBron went out of high school to the pros. He just had to make it. He had to make it through a summer.
Yeah, barely.
You know what
18.
I mean? He had to make it through a summer and part of the fall from high school to being a professional. You know what I mean? These guys, they got to go from high school and make it through 3 of the most formative and tumultuous years a young man can go through without fucking that up. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, if you don't got somebody at square one telling you, these are the schools, this type of scholarship, what are your interests in case football don't work out? Let's get you, if that kind of school offers you a scholarship, that'll probably be best because you're going to be happy there, you're going to be driven, you're going to have something to work towards. I was a brain and an athlete, so I had that, coming up.
Right.
And I didn't even get to football until I was like 7th grade. We didn't have Part 1 and shit like that. So baseball was my thing, and it was a white sport. So everybody in my community, it was like, hey, you're going to have to outshine these damn white boys. You know what I mean? On more than just the baseball field. You know what I mean? To get a scholarship. You're going to have to kill them in the classroom too. But I think that's something that is missed, that we need as a black community, black men mentoring young men. Like, it's like, hey, it's great that you got this guy giving talent, but there's levels to this shit. There's steps. Like, make sure, get them a map so they can know that they can, even if you know they're a shoe-in and God willing they don't get hurt, they still need to have benchmarks to know that they're progressing. Because we can, like I said, I'm sure y'all have people in your ear always talking to you, telling you stuff, but you knew where you had your own perspective of where you were at on that journey. You know what I mean? And it's good if somebody already puts that in early, like, hey man, and you can be like, yeah, all right, I'm hitting that. All this other shit, I don't need that. No, I'm hitting that.
Absolutely.
All right, so Jay, so how'd you get from Clemson being interested in you to actually going to, actually ending up, because you went to ECU, correct?
Yeah.
So let's pick up from, what happened there?
I mean, like I said, I didn't have the grades part of it. I mean, I grew up in a great family, but I grew up in one of those households that, if I brought a bad report card home, nobody disciplined me for it. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, all right, you need to do better. Yeah. As a teenager, it's one of them things like you need somebody to be like, all right, boy, I'm going to put my foot in your tail if you don't get these grades right. You know what I'm saying? Like, kids need that type stuff. So, I mean, I didn't feel the urgency to get my grades better if nobody else really cared. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, me being an athlete at Hanover, and I was helping them win games, like, none of the teachers or anything really cared whether I was they made sure I was doing just enough to pass the play. But I remember just parking my truck in the front of the school and walking right past the principal, and he'd be like, all right, Jay, see you tomorrow. Like, knowing that I'm leaving school, not even trying to stop me. So they didn't care. I didn't care at the time. And that was the wrong mentality to have. So, long story short, when it all came down to signing day, after my SAT scores and my ACT scores were added on to my GPA, I was ineligible to play in the ACC. So at that point, like all I had, I had multiple offers from different schools, but all I had left was like A&T, Catawba College, like small schools, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, dang, I blew a huge opportunity, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wake Forest, Clemson, playing, you know. That's one thing, like, once I actually went to Clemson and saw how everything was and how nice, like, their facility was, I was like, yo, this top of the line. So, I got a call from Coach Holtz at the time. He was at ECU. Like, I think it was the day of signing day, actually. And he called me, and he was like, hey, I'm Coach Holtz from East Carolina. I'm the head coach. And he was like, I heard you were ineligible to go to Clemson, but I still feel like you're a Division I player. So we would like you to come down here and sign with us. Our offer is still on the table, and he kind of explained the Prop 48, where I would have to go there for a year and just be a regular student, get my grades right, get 24 credit hours. I had to pay for that first year. I wasn't on scholarship yet. Once my grades were right, then I went on scholarship the following year. So that first year was basically like a red shirt for me. So I ended up going to ECU doing that. And I finally got my stuff together, man, because I knew I wasn't a dummy. I just rather chase girls and do my work. That was my thing, was women.
Who would think a teenage boy would want to chase
Yeah,
women?
that was my thing, you know what I'm saying? I felt like women was more important than school at the time. Like, that's everybody know when you get your first, you know what I'm saying? It's over.
Yeah.
But
All right.
that was my thing, man, and luckily, like I said, I was blessed enough to be able to get to ECU, so.
So what was all right, so we got Terence, we had at a point where we still hopeful, still seemed like some hope of getting potentially drafted, but the light's dimming. You actually went from ECU, started out red shirt, and getting drafted. So what was that like? I guess, did you get drafted your senior year?
No, I didn't get drafted. I went as a free agent.
Yeah, undrafted.
But once I got to ECU, all that leading up to that, I was just determined.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point in my life, I was just like, I'm not going to have nobody else shut it down the door in my face.
There you
Like,
go.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not going back home. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I put all my eggs in one basket, and that was football. Like, you know, you always hear people say, like, you better make sure you have a plan B. I didn't have a plan B because if I had a plan B, I wasn't going to go that hard at plan A.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just determined.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was nothing and nobody that could tell me no at that point. So
So did you have an agent at that time?
I didn't get an agent until my senior year. Luckily, I had a friend of the family named Marcus Campbell. He actually worked for a few agents. So at that point, I was glad I knew him because he explained the whole process of finding an agent and all that.
Because I was just going to ask, like, are these people? Because you see the TV shows. There's like sports families, so they kind of know the process. But you're not like from like obviously baseball, and even you like if you're in like I'm sure you know enough to kind of help guide your sons because you know enough of the game. But like just say if you grew up, like the typical single mom or whatever, kind of spin whatever story, or someone that doesn't know about sports. Is this who's there? Like, do your coaches guide you? Like, who helps guide you? Because you see a lot of people steer the wrong way or go the wrong way. The times that y'all both are talking about, those are those crucial moments that can kind of make or break you for like as an individual. Like, is there someone that lets you know you need to get an agent, how to pick an agent, and then like and things that go from that period, or like is it like I feel like. On my show, and people that know me know I talk a lot about hip-hop, but in hip-hop they talk about there's people that need to kind of like guide people once you become famous. So once
Absolutely.
you're becoming like a professional athlete, or that, is there someone to help usher that in and kind of explain the game to you? Not the game of the sport, because you obviously know that, but the game of the business of being the business. So like, how did that go?
I was fortunate enough to have in high school to have a coach who was more like, he's more of a coach. I mean, he was more of like a father figure to his players.
Who'd you have then?
I was fortunate enough to have a coach who was more of a father figure opposed to like just a basic coach.
Okay.
And he really taught me and us the structure and like the process of sports, being a student athlete, and for the ones who were fortunate enough to make it to the next level, to the collegiate level, such as myself, Katwana Jones, Larry Burney, a couple other guys, Chris Wade. Like he told us, like he explained to us what to look for, what to do, what not to do, academically, how to stay on top of things, and understand that coaching is the collegiate football is a business. Understand that aspect. Do what you could do. Control what you could control. Things of that nature. So I had help in that aspect.
Okay.
Even out of high
But
school.
there's not necessarily nobody. There's still people in your circle that you're fortunate to have. There's not like someone set up. There's not, hey, I'm in high school. I got a counselor that can kind of help me with my career path. There's no like sports counselor.
At the
like
time,
that.
it wasn't
Yeah.
for me. But in college, we had a academic/athletic advisor who their job was to like manage everything, like make sure you're on track with academics and things of that nature, and what do you want to do in life, stuff like that. But they didn't really.
But do they talk about agents and none of that?
Not
Yeah.
really. Nah. The agent talk about agents, but there's no like what do you call it? Liaison for the path from transitioning from college sports to professional or the real world, period. You know what I mean? So no, it wasn't. I didn't have a source there. I don't know what they have now, but I think that's an intricate piece that they could have at all colleges, really, because I think it's important. I think it would have helped me a lot making that transition, because my situation was a little different, because I had an injury, which means I have no control over my destiny at the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like having a broke down car and I have to get somewhere by tomorrow, but I know it's not going to be fixed for another 5 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So, there's nothing they could do about that. It's nothing I can do about that. And now all I can do is sit back and wait and, see what transpire. Like, after I heal up, am I still going to have the passion to pursue my goals? And throughout that process, will I do it? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And even if I do it, like, will a team take a chance on me? You know what I mean? Will they take a chance with a used, broke down car, or a car that was used and broke down before? You know what I mean? I'm just using that as an analogy.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? So I'm at a different stage than Ross was when he got out of college. You know what I mean?
So Ross, speaking of that, so you said you actually walked on to the team that so what, you played for more.
I played for the Saints, Packers, and the Bills. So kind of how that worked out was when the draft was over. I mean, obviously you do like every other college athlete. You sit there and watch the entire draft. Like, I watched every pick. Yeah. I'm sitting here like, I got my phone right here and I got the TV on, and I'm like, I want to be like one of them guys on TV. They get that phone call and they're like, hey, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, that didn't happen for me. I got through the whole 7th round, and it got to Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, well, at this point, I'll take Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Irrelevant, get a bonus, dude.
Yeah, and I kind of got discouraged because, after my junior year, I had a 2nd round projection. And then my senior year, it gets to the 5th round, and I see a D tackle from Howard get picks up. And I'm like, I'm done. I just sit back on the couch, and I'm like, from Howard?
Yeah.
I'm done. So my agent called me right after the draft was over. I'm talking about literally seconds after the draft, like the final pick. And he calls me and he's like, dude, I got 16 different teams right now that want to sign you. And he goes through the list. He's like Cowboys, Chiefs, Saints. Like, he names the list. Mm-hmm. And at this point, like you said earlier, like, I mean, I didn't have no guidance, so I still didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So I asked him, like, what do you think's the best one? And he was like, dude, I got you to this point. I'm not going to make that decision for you. Yeah. He was like, you decide what team you want to go to, but I can go ahead and tell you that you need to go to a team where you feel like you can make the team. Like, he starts naming the guys that they already got.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're going to have to beat somebody out for a spot.
Yeah.
So, me coming from ECU, I mean, it wasn't a huge school, but we were used to winning. We coming off back-to-back conference championships.
Yeah.
I was used to winning. Saints had just came off for a Super Bowl, so I'm like, I'm going to the Saints. Maybe they'll go back-to-back. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of screwed me because they drafted a 4th-round pick out of LSU. So they put more of the efforts into him, trying to develop him along.
Yeah.
Because typically, and this
Money
is something
invested.
I didn't know. I didn't know this. So if you get drafted, that comes with a certain amount of money, kind of guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus, and they got to pay him that. Versus they kind of negotiate, or do they just give you an offer and you accept it? Like,
I mean, how that kind of worked. And it's funny you say that because, like I said, that 4th-round pick, me and him were roommates throughout training camp.
Oh, wow.
So we got our signing bonuses at the same time. I got a $5,000 signing bonus for going to the Saints at the time. After taxes, it was like $2,500.
Wow.
You know, and like you said, them credit card bills and stuff, I had cable bills, credit card bills from college that I needed to go ahead and pay off. So that check was gone.
Yeah.
So he came in the room at the time and he was like, man, it's bull crap. And I'm looking at him like, what's wrong with you? And he was like, man, Uncle Sam taking all my money. And he was like, man, they took over half my signing bonus. So I look at his check, it's still like $400,000. I'm like, bro, we can switch.
Yeah, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you sitting here complaining, bro, we can switch.
I'll give you a lesson in appreciation real quick.
You know what I mean? And it was, but that's, I don't know. I mean, it's
process.
Yeah, it is a process.
So y'all were in school, y'all end up going to the same team and pretty much competing for the same position?
Yeah, he had money invested in him, so the Saints were trying to develop him, so he was getting more reps in practice, would get more reps in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it was 2 preseason games I didn't even play. Mm-hmm. So the Saints almost killed my career at that point.
Wow. So I got a question related but unrelated to the actual sports. So Terence, as a star, because one, you were a star player, and then you actually played for an NFL team. So what was some of the craziest stuff that either got offered to you or that y'all saw while during those heydays?
Like far as like off the field crazy stuff?
Off the field. I'm just like,
hey, it's
like
legit.
people wonder how because I just want to talk because people don't really realize how y'all are like rock stars, so I'm sure there's some crazy, there's some crazy stuff. Y'all 2 kids from Wilmington, North Carolina that, Wilmington back then ain't like how Wilmington is now. There was no internet, so like, I'm just like,
when it comes to sports and politics and things of that nature, you're always going to have somebody who like really adore those topics, you know what I mean, and really invest themselves within those, especially sports, and they kind of overdo certain things.
Yeah.
Me personally, I never experienced anything like that. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But
it might not be you personally, but you might have been in a dorm room or, a roommate or a teammate or something. You don't have no names, but I'm sure that that something crazy happened. For us normal people, like I'm not an athlete like y'all.
Yeah. In the hometown, a couple of rich people, try to do a couple of things, but and maybe it's from the heart, you know what I mean. But I never accepted, and they understood why, and it wasn't like a malicious type situation. It wasn't like I want to give him or them this
Yeah.
because of that or because of this reason. You know what I mean? It was more like, I really appreciate what you're doing. Keep inspiring. ...
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
nah,
But
feel-
you know,
Help me out with some more programs, you know.
yeah, you know. But it
I-
was, you know, it wasn't nothing. I don't think it was. I think it's more so they liked what I was doing. You know,
Yeah.
as far as
I got you. You
the
don't want
inspirational
to.
side.
You
of it,
don't
know
want
what
to
I
give
mean?
any Avengers
Yeah,
spoilers.
it had nothing to do with like
you know.
me going to Wake Forest. It had nothing to do with Wake Forest or anything. Yeah, it was all.
Yeah.
It's
So,
about me
Jay,
personally.
what about like being in that? I mean, it might not have been you, but I mean, I'm sure like you said, you're on the team that previous year they won the Super Bowl, and so I'm just sure like what's some of the craziest stuff that you've seen.
I mean, the parties, I mean, it's like all I wanted to ever do was play football. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to stay out of all that.
Got
I
that
hated
that bro code alarm just going off.
No, I mean, I hated that attention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, even now, like, I mean, Terence know me. Like, you guys call me up or whatever. I'd be like, yeah, I'm one of the most humble guys.
Yeah.
I just try to stay like under the radar. I don't
Yeah.
try to sit out there and be all flashy.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of groupies out there, man.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it is on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And it's,
Really, groupies? What do you mean groupies? Like a group of
I
people?
mean, I'll let you,
Yeah. Fill in the blank, right?
yeah, fill in the
I mean,
blanks.
not me, but
know
our
what?
audience. They might not, they might not really understand.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
go, bro.
Terrence.
Now you can finish.
I'll just put it this way: it's a group of people out there. I'm not gonna say male or female that kind of want to ride that coattail whenever you up. You know what I'm saying? And they kind of go away when you're down. So I mean, I'll let you fill in the blanks
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah, to spin off what Jay was saying. In college, man, I maybe I watched a lot of movies, but I wanted to live I wanted to experience my college career as if I would never come back here again. You know what I mean? I wanted every day. I wanted some excitement. You know,
Yeah.
And not just like with girls and things of that nature, man.
Yeah,
I just want to experience. I wanted people that like to know me. And understand me, and I wanted to understand people, and like I wanted to
The college
to experience the
experience.
whole social aspect of it, and I didn't want to be known as just a star running back or athlete and things of that nature. I used to mingle more. I'm not gonna say more with the the regular students, but I mingled with them a lot. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to just be like club with the football players. Categorized with the football players and things of that nature, man. I play football, but I'm also like a human being. I'm also a student at Wake Forest University. I'm also, and like if you talk to anybody in that era, man, they'll tell you this. Like, if we didn't know Terence played football, we wouldn't know he played football. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't the one going around bragging about.
You weren't a typical jock.
That's kind of
The jock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was never me. Even in high school, man. Like I never understood it because it could be taken away from you so fast, man, by injury or by whatever the case may be, man. That's why you always try to remain humble. I know it's tough sometimes being around, playing a game around that many people and being popular and things of that nature, but it's good to balance. And, we used the word groupies earlier, it just comes with the territory, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, groupies are guys and girls. You know what I mean? Like
nah.
groupie could be you. Back in the
the-
'80s, I would have been a groupie for Michael Jackson. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
it's like
that's cool.
I don't know, man. It's part of the experience. It's part of the process, and it's appreciated. Everything I did in college, I appreciate it, man. From the social aspect, for the academic aspect, of the physical side, as far as the football, things of that nature, man. So it was just fun. A lot of crazy stuff happened. But it's good crazy if you ask me,
Yeah.
Parties.
I did ask you, but so we're about to wrap up part one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go around, kind of everybody give their sign off, and then make sure you check out part two. So it was kind of talked about the actual sports, And then in part 2, just check us out. We're going to talk about kind of the life after sports. And we're also going to get to some of the topics about how college players are treated and all that kind of thing. So, you know what I mean? We're going to kind of go around, give it like a little sign off, say some stuff. Shout out your social media if you want to shout that out. But go around and, so T.
Yeah, so again, Tarence Williams, brand ambassador for Beast Behavior and a brand ambassador for the Running Back Club. I have a lot of a variety of different handles. So
they'll be in the credits, but yeah, go ahead and shout it out.
At Beast Behavior Store on Instagram, at beast.behavior on Instagram, at T_Will_train on Instagram, and at the Running Back Club on Instagram. So please check that out, and thank you in advance.
All right, Jay.
Again, I'm Jay Ross. I don't have an Instagram or nothing like that. I do got a Facebook. It's just Jay Ross on Facebook. I definitely want to shout out this Hennessy popcorn right here because it's changed my life.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed my life.
Yeah.
It's happening.
I do want to also shout out my wife. She has she does earrings and she does like a whole lot of crafting. It's TwoCreativeCreations. You just hit her up on Facebook, Nakia Shante. Women that want your earrings, or fellas that want to get your women some earrings, she does it all. So I do want to shout out that as well.
Mother's Day is coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
It's Mo. I'm on Instagram. I'm Black Jesus. It's IM_Black_GSUS. And Lavar Moultrie on Facebook. Yeah.
You can catch him at Solanche if you're in Wilmington, North Carolina. And me, I am the Inquisitive Mind of Louis T. IMoLT. You can search that on YouTube. We need more subscribers, so you checking us out, hit subscribers. Just make sure you get part 2. It's going to get even more in depth. I definitely want to give a big shout out to Beast Behavior, sponsor of the episode. Thank you for that, Terrence. Also, a big shout out to TwoCreativeCreations, the creators of this Hennessy popcorn. We also got some cupcakes in the back. Also, if you want to be a sponsor, have some wonderful product placement or some catering or whatever, you can email me at mindoflouist@gmail.com. I'm sure Ibby is going to have that in the credits or right here somewhere. Thank you for that, Ibby. Also, big shout out to Designz by a T. Shout out to, I was about to say a name he don't like, but shout out to John, because he don't like that other name, for the wonderful tee. So if you want a screen printing or if you want to get a custom tee, shout them out. But the most important thing, hit subscribe, share it with a friend, and check out part 2, Inquisitive Mind of Louis T. We out.
Stuff.